I can't see you.
You'll be able to see me when I bring you up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Welcome. It is a special day. It's Tuesday, but today is the day that we celebrate Joseph, our friend, and we miss him, but we couldn't let this day go by without celebrating him. And tonight I have with me on the show none other than Uncle Fred. This is Joseph's uncle, but more like his father because he raised him. And I'm gonna bring him up.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, Uncle Fred?
It's hard, but I'm still holding out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I stopped drinking, but maybe I need one of those.
Yeah. We couldn't let this day go by, and I'm glad. Roxanne and I talked earlier, and you were Joseph's uncle. You still are his uncle, but you're our uncle too. And there's no way we could just let this day go by without celebrating your nephew's memory with you.
And I am so grateful. I am so grateful.
And I just want to let you know, and everybody in the comments, they're going to tell you the same thing. We love Joseph. We miss him, but we thank God we still got you with us. And we just want to, for your family that's watching, we want to let them know that we love them and we're praying for them too, because Joseph was truly loved by a lot of people. I can't think of anybody that had anything bad to say about him. Everybody loved him. So we just want to love on tonight. And I'm not going to try to take over anything tonight. I just want you to tell us about the Joseph we didn't know. From his early childhood up until I got the pleasure of knowing him the last couple of years. We just want to know about Joseph. So whatever you feel is on your heart, you want to talk about, go right ahead.
Well, one of the biggest things I would tell you that nobody probably knows or would believe is that, truthfully, Joe was very shy.
I can see that.
He was a very shy person, and most of the time he might keep to himself. But once he had friends, Joseph would friend you until you crossed him. As long as you didn't cross him, he would be your friend to the end.
Right.
But let's go back to when he was born. When he was born, I remember his mother going to the hospital to have him. And we came later and we saw this little bundle. He was our, I want to say third. He was our third, our third nephew. No, he was our second nephew because my oldest brother had a daughter, Jermaine, and then she had a son, Jasper Jr., and then Joseph was born. So he was our third nephew. But for some reason, Joe clung to me. From the time he was a child, he clung to me. So I did my best to take care of him and raise him and make sure nothing happened to him, and told him that he could be whatever he wanted to be, no matter what. And whatever you wanted to be, I would love you no matter what, And that's what young people need to know now. I think they need to know that nowadays, is that you love them in spite of. Whatever they do, whatever they do in life, if they get in trouble, if they go to jail, no matter what, you still got to love them.
Right.
Because that's the only thing that's going to change them. Because love covers a multitude of sin.
Yes.
And the only way you draw people to yourself and you get them to change is through love.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, to make a long story short, yeah, it's I've been trying to think, when you overthink yourself or what you want to say and
Mm-hmm.
the memories you want to have, the memories you do have. And some of those memories are when he and his sister were old enough to come stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one day I went in my room and they're on the floor going through all my dresser drawers. I have no clue what they were looking for. I asked them, "What are y'all looking for?" "Oh, we're just looking."
Mm-hmm.
So it's like little things like that you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked me some questions, Daryl, because I'm like,
yeah, I understand. When you came back from Vietnam, how long after you came back was Joseph born?
Joseph was born in 1971. So I was in Vietnam in 1968. I came home in 1968, October 1968.
Mm-hmm.
Joe was born in 1971.
Okay, so you were fairly recent out of the service. You hadn't been out of the service that long when he was born.
That is correct. You're right.
Yeah. So is Joseph the oldest of his siblings, or was he like in the middle, the youngest?
No, there were only two, Joseph and Tracy, and he was the oldest.
Okay.
And I think that if I remember correctly, they're 3 years apart.
Okay. So she was back there a few years. So you spent the first couple of years with just you and him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was right.
Let me just divert 1 minute because I want to tell you the story about
Go ahead.
Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
When Tracy was born, I think they were at my mother's house. Mm-hmm. And what happened was I was there and my sister's water broke and all of that. And she said, "Oh, I'm getting ready to have this baby." So there was no time to call the ambulance and whatnot. I said, "Come on, let's get in my car. I'm going to take you to the hospital."
Mm-hmm.
And so we got in my car and I'm racing to get her to the hospital. And I finally saw a cop and I stopped him. I said, "My sister is getting ready to have a baby. I need an escort to the hospital." So he said, "Put on your blanket, stay behind me, and let's keep going, no matter what." And I did it. Tracy don't like me to tell that story, but that's a true story.
You got it there, or was she born?
I got it in time. Yes, I did.
Hey, that's a good story. I mean, you were there from the beginning with both of them. So
yes.
I know that you've always said, I could, because you even talk about it now about, we'd be doing certain things like, well, if Joseph was still here, Joseph would have done this for me or taken care of this, technical stuff, and we laugh. But then I thought about it when my parents were still alive and they had some question about something technical. They wouldn't. My brother was right there in the house. They would never ask him anything. They would never ask my sister. They would call me. "Well, Daryl, how do I do that?" And I had to try to explain it on the phone. I said, "Gene, I said, give Gene the phone. I'll tell Gene what to do, and then he'll show you." And they didn't like that. They wanted me to tell them directly. "Well, I need to learn how to do it." I said, "Well, he's going to show you," but they wasn't hearing that. So
right.
I understood how you like. He was like a big help to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that was one of the main things when Roxanne came to me about doing it. I said, "Oh, no question." She said, "Are you available?" I said, "Yeah, this is Uncle Fred." I said, "Of course, I'm available." I'd have made time because you've done so much for us, Uncle Fred. I can only speak for me, but I'm sure everybody else in the chat will say the same thing. When we wanted to talk about something, you listen. So, like I said it earlier, and I'm gonna say it again. You're not just Joseph and Terry's uncle. You're our uncle too. So I can't tell you how many times 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 3, 4 in the morning, Uncle Fred up eating a Klondike bar, we laughing, and he'll just talk to me about anything. And I tell you this, and sometimes you'll say, "Well, I don't mean to bore you with my Vietnam stories, but you don't know how much listening to those stories helped me, because I would talk to my father when he felt comfortable talking about it."
Right.
But, talking to you about that, it makes me think about the good conversation that me and my dad had before he passed away. And so I don't mind those conversations. I don't mind them at all, because a lot of people will never know what that time in life was like, especially for Black people.
Right.
you know, you going over to a foreign country, you fighting a war in another country, and for helping people get their freedom, and you still struggling to get freedom here in the States.
Right.
You're over there. So yeah, so when you tell me those stories, I just sit there and listen, because it's like living history. It's not like picking up a book. It's like you was there. I was born while it was going on.
Right.
And Joseph was born towards the tail end of it. And then his sister came after it was
over.
Yeah. So I was born in the middle of it. So I don't really have any recollection of it, but I just know, well, where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? Why isn't Daddy here with us? You know, and my mom said, I was always asking the question, where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? Oh, Daddy's over here. She pulled out a globe, because people still had those big globes. She said,
right.
You're right here. Your daddy's over here. Well, why can't he come home? And you know, because I'm 2 or 3, I'm asking all these questions. And mind you, while all that's going on, she got me as a small baby and 2 older siblings, and neither one of them was teenagers yet. Well, yeah, they were. And then she only learned how to drive because she got pregnant with me. And you're on a base down in the South. And your husband on the other side of the world, and you don't know whether he's coming home or not.
Right.
So that's a lot, you know. So when you tell me those stories, it brings me back into remembering all the stuff that my parents would tell me. So I don't mind those stories. And so, and I'm pretty sure you shared those stories with Joseph and his sister and all your other nieces and nephews. So don't ever feel that you're boring anybody when you tell those stories, because that's a part of not only world history, that's your family's history, and you sharing that, because there's going to come a time when me and you not going to be here, and the younger ones behind us will be like, well, when I was little, Uncle Daryl told me this, or Uncle Freddie told me this, and that's how they keep your memory alive and me alive.
One of the most freshest memories I have is that my niece Tracy, her daughter, my great niece, while she was in school, she had to do some type of project on Vietnam. They knew I was in Vietnam. And my sister brought it to the house so I could explain some of the things that went on in Vietnam. And from what I understand, I think she got a good mark on her paper, because I was giving it to her firsthand knowledge.
Right.
One book knowledge, like you said, it was firsthand knowledge. Right. I was there, and I was a medical corpsman.
You was all the way up on the front.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of stress. But I remember when my dad would come home from the field and doing other stuff, and he would just lay his equipment down by the door, and he'd sit there, he'd look out the corner of his eye, because he knew I was always into something. So when I figured he wasn't looking, I put on his helmet and all his little gear, and I'm stumbling through the house, and he would just laugh and laugh and laugh. And I put on his boots, and I'm stumbling because his feet were big compared to my feet. But as I got older, my feet were bigger than his. So my dad wore a 9.5, and shoot, by the time I was 7th grade, I was wearing a 13. So yeah, the size I am now, I was 15 pounds heavier but 3 inches shorter. But this is the size I was in the 7th grade. Wow. So yeah, so I remember those times, and money came by that. So I know you just have a bunch of stuff that you did with all your nieces and nephews, but you always said how Joseph was kind of like your shadow, your right hand. And we couldn't let this day pass by. We had to give him we had to honor him in an epic way today. So, yeah. So whatever you feel like talking about, Uncle Fred, it don't matter to me. I sent the link up, Roxanne. I'm gonna put it in the chat, because that's your other daughter. And because like I say, Roxanne just took to you, so that and all of us did. But I know sometimes we get on your nerve asking 50 million questions, but you got to look at us. Since you've known me, I've lost both my parents, and other people around here. They've lost loved ones, and unfortunately, some of the people that was over here supporting us, they passed on, like Legit Doctorate and other people. So yeah, so you're like the elder statesman over here. So whenever we have an issue, it might be something small. Oh, you worried about that? But to us, I can't pick up my phone no more and say, Mom and Dad, what you think about this? I can't do that. So I run a lot of stuff by you because you've been where I'm trying to go in life. And I haven't gotten there yet. See, so good Lord, see fit to let me live a little while longer, because you always laugh when I say, oh, I'm so tired, or I'm sore, and you just laugh when all of us complain about our little aches and pains. You're like, okay, keep living, and we just laugh. And
you really see what aches and pains are.
yeah, I agree. That's true, but if I make it to June, I'll be 55. That's the age I never thought I'd be around to see. So, because I couldn't even envision my life when I was in my 20s being this old. And now I look, I'm like, oh, 50 is not that old, but every day I look over my left and right. Somebody that I started out with, they're not here no more. So, yeah, hold on. Hey, Roxanne.
Hey, can y'all
hear me? Hey, Roxanne.
Yeah, we can hear you. So
we got Mr. Lips in the chat.
Okay. I called him. I talked to him. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Lips, oh my God. I cannot thank that man enough, because he was down in Georgia. And when Joe was in the hospital, that man was there just about every day. He stayed there for hours. In the last few days of Joe's life, let me tell you, Lips had his phone and he went live in that hospital with Joe for us, because we had already gone down to see Joe and we couldn't go back down again. And Lips would stay there for literally hours. I mean, hours. That man stayed there and he let us talk to Joe. And I'm telling you, I can never thank that man enough.
Angel. He was an angel.
Trust me, he was an angel. Yeah. He would go see Joe when we couldn't even talk to Joe.
Thank you, Lips.
Joe. So Lips, I will never forget you. Never.
Thank you.
You can believe that. Never. You in production, never forget you. They went down
Joe
there
was more like a son to Uncle Fred.
It was funny because some of my adopted sons, right? They would come around, or I'd say something about them, and I sometimes did this just to tease you. I said, "Oh yeah, that's my son." You ain't got no son. That's your fake son. I'm your only real son.
I put that in the chat because when Daryl was saying, you're like all of our uncles. I know he up there talking about he ain't y'all damn uncle. That's my uncle. Because that's what he used to say to me.
Yeah,
we were going back and forth. That ain't your Uncle Roxanne.
Yeah, you got to share.
He didn't want to share his uncle. I don't know why.
He sure didn't.
He did not.
Yeah, well, I mean, from the time he could walk, he was up under you. So I understand that, but
thank you, Lips. Thank you so much. God, thank you.
It was just no way we could just let this day go by. I can't lie, I was dreading it a little but I know he's in a better place. Just like my dad, if he'd still been alive this month on the 29th, he would have been 90. So I don't dwell on how it ended. I dwell on the good time.
The good times.
Yeah, because we all got to go that way that they've gone. So, and we don't know the moment or the hour when it's going to happen.
And my thing is this: if they know you're not getting well, if they tell you, it would have to be a supernatural miracle for you to get up and be like you used to be. If that didn't happen, then I don't want somebody laying around suffering, just waiting.
Me either.
I don't care how much I love you. I don't care how much it hurts. And with Joe, it hurt beyond hurt. I mean, when Joe left here, it hurt me beyond hurt.
Yeah.
Beyond hurt. And I was telling somebody the other day, I don't think I even feel it yet. But that's how hurt I am because it hurt
But
me beyond.
he was so at peace though, Uncle Fred.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I think that's what I think you're just gonna it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be what it was because he was so at peace.
Let me share a story with you that brings me to peace. That brings me peace that passes understanding because I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, the Saturday night before Joe passed.
Mm-hmm.
Joe was telling his sister and them the story. He said God came to him and took him back and showed him his life. He said God showed him all the good he did in his life. And Joe said, I never thought I did all that good. But when God was showing it to him, he knew he did it. And after God showed him that, he said it was in a dream. But to hear them tell it, I keep telling them, no, I don't believe it was a dream. I literally believe it was a vision. And there's a difference between a dream and a vision. And I really, in all my heart, believe Joe had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And after they told me that story, and Joe was at peace after that. Joe was at peace after he had that vision. And that's what kept me calm. Because it was like, with me, it was like, okay, it is well. It is well. So I was at peace. And he said that he was ready to go see his mother, his grandmother, Uncle David, Mommy. He was ready. He was ready. He wasn't fighting. He wasn't kicking. He wasn't screaming. He was ready. And he even told one of his friends, I'm dying. He even told one of his friends, I'm dying. So he knew what was getting ready to happen. We just didn't know when.
Yeah, I remember. I never forget it. The last time I flew down, it was in January before my father passed, and I was sitting in the room. It was just me and him alone.
Daryl, just 1 second. Daryl. Lips, amen to what you just said.
Yes.
Amen to what you just said. I'm sorry, Daryl. Go ahead.
No, that's no problem. And he said, "Get whatever you want out of the closet, because I don't need it no more." And I didn't. I was like, "Don't say that." He said, "No." He said, "My warranty is running out." He used to say that, and it used to bother me. So I said, "Dad, don't say that." He said, "I'm okay with it." He said, "Everybody want to live a long time, but my warranty is running out, and I'm okay. I did everything God brought me here to do, and I got everything that He said I could have." He said, "No, get some more." I packed up everything. I said, I have to come and get some more when I drive down, because I flew down that time. And the next time I saw him was in April. And I drove down, and he had really taken a decline. And my mama said to him, "You know who that is over there?" Because, I mean, he was real weak. And he would hardly talk. But when he saw me, he said, "That's my baby boy." And I walked over and I kissed him on the head, and he took his little hand, he rubbed my bald head. He said, "You still cutting your hair off?" I said, "Yeah, Dad, I'm bald. I can't walk around holding my top." And he just laughed, and he was in the nursing home. So the next time I saw him was, they said, "If you want to see him again, you better get here." So y'all know, because we was all talking. I said, "Hey, I'm about to get to the airport." And I went from the airport straight to the hospital because they didn't think he was going to make it. They didn't think I was going to make it in time. And I sat there with him. They said, "Take all the time you want." And he hadn't moved or responded or done nothing in like 2-3 days. But as soon as I came in there, I saw the monitor, the beep, beep. And I said, "Your baby boy is here." And as soon as I said, his eyes started flickering. And I caught his hand. He kind of did my hand like that. They said he hadn't moved in 2 days. And the monitor started going. I said, "It's okay. Go on and go." I said, I'll take care of Mama. We'll take care of her. And I think I got home maybe an hour or two after that. He had passed on.
Yeah.
But
sometimes we have to let
them. Yeah, it was peaceful.
Sometimes we have to let them know it's okay to go.
And I did that with my uncle too. That I have tattooed on my arm. It was the strangest thing. That was the first time I actually saw somebody transition, take his last breath. my uncle, it was so odd because like the night before, he was just calling people's names, and I wish I wrote them down, but he was talking to people and my family that had already passed on as if they were in the room with us.
Okay.
And I remember, and I was holding his hand that morning. I said, "It's okay, go on and go." Because he was struggling, fighting that last breath. And then when he passed, the strangest thing I'd ever seen in my life, he smiled when he took his last breath, and a tear came down his face on both sides, and he was gone.
Wow.
And it was the most peaceful thing I'd ever seen in my life. He smiled. It was like it's over now. And that tear went down both sides of his face. He was gone. That's why I know when I saw him pass, when I saw my daddy, I knew. I said, if you didn't believe before, I know for a fact there's life after you transition, because they went with peace.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle used to always say, "All I want is salvation." He said, "Because I can't take nothing with me. All I want is salvation and God's grace and mercy." And so that comforted me when I dealt with both of them passed. And then when my mother passed, it kind of caught me off guard, because my brother, I just talked to her the day before on my cell phone, and he was feeding her, and she just missed my daddy. And then she said, "I don't want nothing else to eat." And my brother said he turned, and she went peacefully. She left here on her terms, in her house, in her bed. No suffering, none of that. And so when we have our loved ones like that, we're sad because we're still here.
Right.
But they're not.
Right.
And we miss them. So that's what, once we can get past that part, we'll never stop missing them. But where we mess up, we get tired of how they were in the last days, instead of looking at everything, all the good times we had with them, all the laughing and the jokes. Because some days I be driving, like today, I got real emotional thinking about them. Like, man, I miss my parents, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought about it. I said, they wouldn't want me like that. And whenever I get like that, I stop. I said, no, because if I truly love them, I'll dwell on the good stuff, not the sad. And that gets me through, Uncle Fred. I don't know. Like you said, that peace that just surpasses all understanding. I just get calm, because I'll start thinking about funny stuff. Or everybody says I act just like my dad. I even look like him. I can't see it, but everybody else does. So sometimes when I'm dealing with my boys, I have to catch myself. I say, darn, did I really just say that? I sound just like my old man. Because I used to think he was so old-fashioned. But then I had kids of my own, and everything he was telling me, it makes sense now.
It makes sense now. Yeah.
It all makes sense. And I'm so glad I listened to him. As I was butting heads with him when I was younger. But as I got older and I had my own kids, I actually had to, thank God I told him, I got on my knees literally. And Mama was laughing. He was sitting in the recliner. I said, Daddy, I said, I apologize to you, man to man, not father to son, man to man, all the problems I caused you. I said, because them jokers over there, and I pointed at I said, I'm getting everything back that I gave you. I'm getting it 3 times as bad. And he just bust out laughing. He popped me on the back. He said, well, you're going to have to deal with it like I did. And my mom just started laughing. So I remember, like you were sharing those memories about Joseph. That's what I think about whenever I feel myself getting sad. Like here, I'm sitting in the room now across from my dad's flag on the wall. And that's just a part of who he was. I wear this with my parents' picture on my neck. I take them wherever I go. I refuse to let sadness overcome me. Just like when Joseph passed, I didn't want to bombard you because I knew what you were handling, because you were trying to get his arrangements and his affairs in order. And I had to unfortunately do it twice in like 18 months time. So just like I told you, I know the rest of us are like, hey, if you need to talk, just call us. If not, or whatever you need, just let us know. But I just didn't want to get up in your face, and just because you had family you were dealing with, you were sad, so you had to kind of put your feelings to the side to make sure the business was handled. And that's a lot of stress, and people don't realize that. And but some people are just really blessed that they still have their family, they still have their children, and some people haven't experienced that like we have, having to lay a loved one to rest. But
it's I'm even while I'm sitting here talking, I'm thinking I think the reason why it hurts beyond hurt
Mhm.
is because, okay, yeah, my mother, my grandmother, my father,
Mhm.
my oldest brother, my oldest sister, my next to the youngest brother, and next to the youngest sister, they all passed.
Mhm.
But they were like, we've known each other all our life, and to me, they were adults.
Mhm.
But when somebody that you consider your child
Mhm.
leaves out of here before you, I mean, your
It
child,
hurts. It hurts.
it hurts beyond hurt.
Mhm.
But when I think about it, I'm so glad that Joe lived his life
Mhm.
to the fullest in the way he wanted to live it.
Mhm.
He didn't care what anybody else said. He lived his life to the fullest and the way he wanted to live it. And sometimes we get caught in snags, but that happens, and we can't get ourselves out for some reason. But
Mhm. But I'm gonna tell you, Uncle Fred, this is my Joseph thing. Whenever we be on screen together, whether it's in a private chat or I was watching his show, he was watching mine. Joseph's facial expression, because he could have never went to no casino and played no kind of
no,
poker. He'd have lost everything because whatever he was thinking, he was feeling. He didn't have to say nothing. You could just look at him and know what was going on.
correct.
And his facial expressions would have me cracking up. And he'd be like, "Why are you laughing at me?" I said, "Man, you funny." I said, "You just don't realize how funny you are. You just be sitting." I mean, you can tell he grew up around older people because as I've gotten older, I don't have no filter. And so he grew up around a lot of people that didn't have no filter. They said whatever they were thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and the chips fall where they may. And that came up in him. I could tell it. Because one day I just asked him, I said, "You grew up around your grandmama and all your uncles and aunts, and ain't none of them bit their tongue for nothing." He said, "Nope." And he just looked right off. And he had that little white dog in his lap. And he said, "Nope." I said, "Yeah, I could tell." And that he would just crack me up. And I would just laugh. That was the one thing that always made me laugh about Joseph. Whatever he was thinking or feeling, all you had to do was look. He could never like, "Joseph, you okay?" "Yeah, I'm all right." "Something bothering?" "Nope." And you know it was
And
because
you know there was,
yeah,
yes,
he could never play poker. He would lose all his money. Because I mean, he whatever he was feeling, it was right there.
yeah, on
And
his face.
on his face, and I would just laugh. I couldn't stop laughing. It was just hilarious. But and he was so quiet though. But whenever he said something, that was it.
Yeah,
It
that
was,
was it. That is 100% correct.
and I said, and I asked him one day. I said, "Are you?" I said, "Are you stubborn?" He said, "No." And then who was that? I don't know if it was you or Roxanne. I said, "I believe you stubborn." He's, "No, I'm not. I just say what I have to say, and now I'm done with it." And then, "Oh, you bust out laughing. You didn't say nothing." And he just looked over at the screen at you because we was all up on the screen. He just looked over at you. And he couldn't do it but laugh because he know you would bust him out real quick. Because I don't see him biting his tongue for much of nothing.
He didn't.
Hey,
And like you said, when he was finished with you,
he was
he was
finished.
finished with you.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I think some of that he got from me because I put up with you until I reached that point. Like I had some people back when I was living in Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and we shared the rent and whatnot. It was my place, but we shared the rent and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And they would, "Oh, I'm leaving. I'm moving out. I'm going somewhere." "Okay, no problem. Okay, I can carry the rent. That's why I have the place. You
Mm-hmm.
just giving me your portion because you're not going to live here free."
Mm-hmm.
After a while, they come back. Some else, they go again. And I think the third time they came back, I told them, "You can leave here on your own as many times as you want and come back. As long as I open my door, you can come back in. I'm only going to tell you once to go. And if I tell you to go, don't come back because you're not getting in." And that's how I am. When I've had it, I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finished.
Yeah.
Even at work, when I was managing at work, when I had it, I had it. That was it. And Joe knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you another thing I liked about Joe. Joe thought he was slick.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my room, Joe was living with me in my room.
Mm-hmm.
I leave stuff on my dresser and stuff like that. Because nobody got no business coming in my room. And I know what I leave where.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, and sometimes Joe would be out of money. And he knew I didn't care. And so he slip in my room and take some money. And I come, Joe, how much money you take from me? Huh? Huh? I said, Joe, you took money off my dresser because you disturbed something. What are you talking about? Okay, so come in. Let me show you. This was here. Now it's here. And I know that for a fact. He said, yeah. I said, I don't want the money back, but you just let me know.
Was he a teenager?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Young. It was funny, but Joe knew whatever he needed, I get him. Whatever he wanted, I get him.
So when you were, before you moved away, with work and everything, so for the most part, he was around you all the time, except for when he went to Atlanta.
Except when he went to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what saddens me about that is because this last time he went to Atlanta, he had said he never wanted to go back. Yeah, he said he never wanted to go back to Atlanta. And when he said he was going back, I regret it now. But I should have told him, no, you're not going back. Because you said you don't want to go back, so you're not going back. You said you never wanted to go back, so why are you going back? No, you're not going back. But, sometimes you got to let grown folks do what grown folks do.
Right.
You'll regret it later, but, you follow.
Yeah, you just have to love them and hope that, hope for the best.
Everything goes well. Hope everything goes well. So
now I'm going to ask you something. Because y'all was so close to that. If it's too personal, I understand. There's no secret Joseph was a gay man. Were you the first person he told? When he came out as gay, were you the first person he told?
He confirmed it after I told him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you basically, you raised it, so you knew.
I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl, you when you have been around gay people in the service and in life and whatnot like that, it's no secret. So what you do is, and you don't be boastful about it and you don't be nasty about it. You talk to them and tell them in a calm, loving way, so that they will feel comfortable. You see what I'm saying?
Opening up to
because then they'll open up to you. And they know, oh, he loves me, and I can tell him anything. So if he runs into problems or something like that, I can talk to him. So, yeah, I told him, come on. You can walk down the street and see some people. They'll tell you, I don't want to mention any names on your show, but somebody we know. Okay, I describe it. I have on my small Vietnam cap. But somewhere, if I want, I can go buy a big hat, like the mothers of the church wear. So I'm going to leave it at that. But somebody is always telling us they're not gay.
Right.
They're not gay. So I'm like, if you're not gay, in my head, I'm saying, if you're not gay, the sun really never comes up. So what's that yellow ball in the sky? Come on.
Yeah, you got a problem, Fred. So when you told that to him before he could tell you, it must have
I wanted him to be comfortable with himself around his uncle. Period.
Right. So it was I'm pretty sure it was like a weight had been lifted off him because he probably trying to figure out a way to tell you.
Yes.
And when you jumped in and said, hey, you gay.
You could see in his face the weight lifted off him. And I would tell anybody, if you know somebody in your family and you know they're gay, then what you should do, instead of them keep concealing it, what they think is concealing it, go to them and talk to them. Talk to them. And sometimes you can talk to them so they feel so comfortable, they'll come out and tell you. Well, and I've had people do things this way. Well, what do you think about gay people? And I tell them, they're people. They're people. Gay people are people. God made the gays, he made the straights, he made the lesbians, he made, see, I was talking to somebody the other day and we were talking about this thing about gay and stuff like that. And some people say, well, the gays are going to hell. You know, God is going to send them all to hell. So you listen to them. You see, you got to use wisdom sometimes. So I listened to them. And then, Daryl, I said, well, I need you to answer a question for me. Because God creates all of us, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, God creates all of us. I said, so what are you going to do, or what are you going to tell the hermaphrodites? They're born with two sexes. Is God going to send them to hell? Because I'm facetiously saying this. I'm not blaming God, because God made a mistake and didn't know what he wanted them to be. So he gave them both sexes, a man and a woman, all with the same sex. So what are you going to do? Send them to hell too?
Right.
Why? My personal thing is, I don't care what you do, how you do it. God looks and judges the heart.
Heart. And that brings me to what I want to say about Joseph. Compared to other people I've interacted with since I've been doing this online stuff, you can tell a person that was raised in love versus a person that was raised in survival mode.
Say that again.
You can tell the difference between a person that was brought up in love versus a person that was brought up surviving.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Their approach to life is completely different. And see, you could tell Joseph loved people and people loved him. So he lived his life with love versus you see somebody, all they know how to do is scam, hustle, scheme because they're trying to get by or get over, and it shows in their actions. They don't know how to relax. They don't know how to just be their authentic selves. That's just what they do all the time. They are completely out of their element when you try to love on them because they don't know how to receive love because they've never been given love.
They've never been given love.
And they don't know how to give it back.
Right.
So it's like a wall with them. They can never be comfortable around you. They can never be themselves. And also they resent you because you can.
Because you can, and because your family loves you and know what's going on.
Right. So I had to learn that the hard way because I wasn't brought up in survival mode. I was brought up in a loving environment. So I give what I want people to give back to me.
Right.
But I have encountered people, male and female, my whole life, and you can tell that all they know is the struggle. Everybody, I wasn't born rich. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't born rich, but all they know is the struggle. So when you try to take them out of the struggle, they don't know. They resist you because they don't know how to deal with it.
They don't know how to deal with it because they don't understand. Why are you trying to look after me?
Right. What's your angle? What you trying to get from me?
Thank you.
They never let their guard down. And you can't live life tense all the time. You're going to have a short, miserable life.
And that's why I say with people like that, it's a very slow process. You can't just come in and want them to change something. No, you got to slowly talk to them and feel where they're coming from and how to deal with them. And at the same time, pray and ask God, how do I deal with this person to catch them?
Yeah, because you over here, you like with me, I'll get on the phone with family, extended family, friends, and I might talk I talk to y'all all night, all times of night. But if I was the person that was in survival mode, I'd be like, "Hey, Darryl, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm all right. you know, I'd be looking at y'all funny, but I wasn't brought up in that survival mode.
Right.
So y'all know stuff about me that people that I grew up with don't even know. I mean, y'all have laughed at me. I've laughed at y'all, and because I'm comfortable, because I was brought up in love. You know, I was brought up praying and trusting God and trying to help somebody.
Right.
With no ulterior motives. I don't just like, you know, you see some people, oh, I'm out here feeding the homeless. They got the camera out, want to take a picture because of recognition. No, if I walk past you, like a guy the other day, Sunday, he was like, sir, I'm not trying to hustle you. I'm a veteran. And he had on a hat. I was like, yeah, he didn't look that old. But then I looked down at his arm and he had the globe and the anchor from the Marine Corps on his arm. And he said, I'm just trying to get to this homeless shelter. I said, where the homeless shelter is? If it's on this side, I'm about to leave here in a minute where I'm at. I'll drop you off. He said, no, it's on the west side. He said, I'm just trying to get some bus fare. He said, I got $7 on my card, but I don't have enough to get the all week pass. So I just reached in my pocket and gave him what I had. I said, you know, don't worry about it. He said, thank you. I said, just be safe out here. But I don't go out trying to just, oh, look at what I did. No, if you can help somebody, help them. If you can't, try to find somebody else who can.
Right.
And that's how if we take that attitude, treat other people how you want them to
how you want to be treated. That's 100% correct.
And that's it. Your whole life will be so much less stressful. You'll be happier. And the people around you will be happy because you're not going to be mean and nasty. If you just say, well, you know what? I don't want this person to hurt me. So guess what? I'm not going to hurt them.
Right. And I can tell you another thing that where Joe got love from, because all his cousins, they had an idea what was going on, but they never showed nothing to Joe but love.
Right.
That's all they ever showed him. They laughed, they joked, they played together, and never showed him anything but love. And that's what helps. That's what helps. We gotta love people. Love covers a multitude of sin. And even the Bible says, God said, with loving kindness, I have drawn thee. I can't draw somebody being hateful and mean.
You sure can't. You push them away.
So because you're showing them two different things. You're being mean to me, but you're trying to bring me to God, or you're trying to quote unquote show me love. It's like oil and water don't mix. So his family, the only thing Joe's family ever showed him was love. And if he could come back there, he'd tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it was obvious because when I got the word that he had passed, the first person I thought of was you, because I didn't know anybody else in the family other than, you know, you telling us stories. So the only thing I was like, how's Uncle Fred gonna take this? How's he feeling? And then I didn't want to ask you because I didn't want to upset you. But I knew that everybody loved him. Nobody had anything bad to say about him. Because the way he treated everybody, he got that love back. So I'm not sitting there trying to give him all these flowers now that he's not here, but that was just who he was. From my perspective and my talking to him, my laughing, cracking jokes with him, he was just a nice guy. And you weren't on these calls though. And I say, Joe, and he said, yeah, Daryl. And he had already started laughing. I said, I would say it just like that. I said, I have a gay question there, Joe. He said, oh, Lord. I said, no. I said, I don't know unless I ask a gay person. I don't know. And he would answer all my questions, no matter how silly he thought it was. I said, just do me one favor, Joe. He said, what's that? I said, don't laugh at my face. Wait till we hang up. Then you can just laugh all you want. Because he was like, like I said, the look on his face, he'd be like, did he just really ask me that? I said, I don't know unless I ask.
Right.
And like when he got married or dating, I said, well, okay, it may seem silly to somebody who's gay, but to me, I said, okay, well, how do y'all decide who's going to be this role in the relationship versus this role? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't know. I said, okay, like I'm dating somebody. That's the girl. I'm the guy. I said,
Right.
but two men. I said, how do y'all decide what responsible? He said, just like anything else. He said, it's just two men. That's all it is. I said, oh. And then when I said that, man, he didn't make it off the phone that time. He just bust out like he just laid. But and I was sitting there. I was like, well, I don't know unless I ask.
Right.
But see, that's the thing. Having those kind of discussions with him is how barriers get broken.
Right. Right.
I grew up in the country, way out in the country. You might have thought somebody was gay. You might have heard somebody was gay, but to just live and breathe and, oh, that's a gay person right there. Because back when I came along, people hid that. They went to their grave not telling people they were gay.
Right.
And then I graduated college. And Lord have mercy, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
The second largest gay population in the entire country and the largest black gay population. And I got here and I moved. I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way. And I told Joseph this story. I said, the first weekend I was there, because my birthday is in June. And every June around my birthday, they would have the National Gay and Lesbian weekend.
Okay.
I didn't know this. So I'm riding the train. I'm going downtown. I see all these people going to the park. I said, okay, this must be a concert or something. So I'm following the crowd. And I get to the edge of the park and I see this big banner that says, Atlanta welcomes the 1993 gay and lesbian such and such. I said, oh my God. I said, this is all I need. Somebody down here to see me. And they swear up and down, I'm gay too. And back in 93, I said, I wasn't homophobic, but it was just the idea. I said, just imagine one of my college classmates see me, even though they'd have to be down there.
Right.
And I got home and I called my dad. My dad laughed at me so hard. And then when I told Joseph the story how my dad laughed, he was just hollering. He just couldn't even stop laughing. I said, I didn't know. He said, how could you not know? I said, dude, I just told you I grew up in the country. And I just moved from the country to the big city. And the first little outing, while I was there, my wife was at work. So I'm just going, trying to see the city. Right. So I hop on the train because I didn't want to drive in Atlanta. Traffic was bad.
Right. Yeah.
And Marcellus, I'm going to get you. So I get down there to that park, and it must have been 200,000 people down there in that park. And all you could see from left to right was rainbows and men wearing ballerina tutus and all kind of these white people now, some black, and then every Labor Day weekend, that's when they had the black gay and lesbian weekend. It was always Labor Day weekend in Atlanta. And I said, oh God, it's that many gay people in the United States. And the guy that was one of the host hotels, it was so funny. That's why I don't know how I didn't run into Joseph. So my girlfriend at the time, we're filmmakers in Atlanta, and they invite one of the people at the host hotel invited us to speak about filmmaking because they were having a symposium for LGBT filmmakers. But I'm like, well, how we got invited, I don't know. But I do know. The guy that was putting it on, he was friends with my girlfriend. And we spoke. So I'm sitting there, and they could tell I was a straight dude. And it's bad when you're the only straight guy, and they picking with you because they know you're nervous. And the guy walked over. He said, first time, huh? I said, what you mean? So I'm looking at him. He's like, this your first time coming to a LGBT event? I said, uh-huh. He said, we don't bite. And then the other guy said, who told you that line? I was like, oh God, I just fell down in the seat. And they were just laughing at me because they were setting me up, right? So later on in life, when I moved to New York and I went to audition for this film, because all I saw was they were paying $15,000. I was like, ooh, let me hurry up and go over and try to get this job. So I get to this place in Manhattan. The whole building is nothing but all LGBT filmmakers. And I didn't know that. I'm walking. I said, there's a lot of people here, gay and lesbian. Okay, I'm from Atlanta. Big deal. By this time, I'm comfortable.
Right.
So the further up the steps I went, the more extreme. Because then you got, the regular gay people on the first floor. But then when you went up to the top floor, that's when you get them wild wearing leather.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I get there, I'm reading the script. And I couldn't stop laughing because of what was in the script. They said, sir, you didn't realize this was a LGBT film? I said, no. And when I tried to read the lines, I kept laughing. Of course, I didn't get the job, but they were so busy laughing at me trying to stumble through these lines with a straight face, no pun intended. But it's just funny when you encounter things that that's out of your comfort zone, that's out of your exposure. Joseph allowed me to ask the questions that I couldn't ask nobody else.
Okay.
And he wasn't judgmental, and he wasn't like, oh, why are you asking me that? You should know that whatever I asked him, he answered me.
Because he knew you were sincere.
Yeah, as trivial as it may have been, I'm like, hey man, I don't know. And I don't want to be ignorant and say the wrong things that'll hurt or offend somebody. Is this so politically correct? Is this the right thing to say? Is this the right terminology? I would just ask. I'm like, okay. And he was like, because 2 times he's like, Daryl, what you said on your show, that's offensive to people in our community. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And he pulled me to the side and he would tell me.
Right. He didn't do it big and loud and
and whatever I was saying, it was never malicious. And because I've had people that been online and you've seen it that happen to be in his community that would say, oh, you homophobic, because they try to throw that at you. I'm like, no, I'm not homophobic. I just don't like you. It has nothing to do with you.
What's the difference? Right.
It has nothing to be gay, straight, undecided, or whatever. I just don't like you as a person. I don't care, because who you love and who you spend your life with, I don't pay your bills, you don't pay mine. And I don't have a cross that I've died on. I don't have a heaven or hell to put nobody in. And Joseph respected that in me. I was like, dude, who am I to judge you? I drink, I smoke cigars, I cuss. Who am I to judge anybody?
Right.
I got my own stuff to deal with. So people are people with me. And I would joke and tell him all the time, I said, you know, some of the coolest and most outrageous parties I've ever been to in my life, gay people hold. I said, y'all had the best food at y'all party. I don't know where y'all get this food from, but y'all had the best food and the best drinks. And he just laughed. He said, yeah, we do know how to throw a good party. I said, yeah, you do. I said, you do. I said, you sure do. I said,
let me ask you a question.
Why
is it I don't see the people in the chat?
Because you're in the I brought you up on the show, and you can read some of the comments. Like if you click on that comment button to the right of you, you should be able to see the comments.
Oh,
yep.
Because I'm sitting here saying I know other people see the chat.
Oh, everybody.
Oh, it all's up now.
See, that's what I was talking about. See, if Joseph was still here, Joseph would have been whispering off in the corner there.
Yes, he would.
Uncle Fred, hit that button right there. Hit that button right there. Hit that button right there. So
because see, I wanted to ask you if he was here, I would say, Joe, come here. And I was like, why don't I see the chat? And he would have said, just click that.
Yeah, or he'd have just reached over for you
and clicked it.
And clicked it on.
Let me tell you something. One thing Joe did for me that shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
When I turned 70, we were having like a big, what is that word I'm trying to look for? You know the word I'm looking for, because you've heard it recently. They're gonna have a big
epic celebration.
Epic birthday party. We're gonna have an epic 70th birthday party. And we did. Let me tell you, we did. Because where I live, it's a closed community, and we have a clubhouse. So you can rent out the clubhouse. So I rented out the clubhouse, and everything else, everybody else paid for. The only thing I did was rent out the clubhouse because I had to do it because it's me that lives here. I own the house. Joe shocked me. Joe said, Uncle Freddie, I'm taking you and I'm going to buy your whole outfit for your birthday. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're just saying that. I'll end up having to give you the money. He said, no, I'm going to buy you your whole outfit for your birthday. I can tell you the only thing Joe did not buy me was my t-shirt and my drawers. But from the hat to the suit, to the shirt, to the pants, to the socks, to the shoes, to the cane he wanted me to have.
Wait a minute, he got your cane?
Everything.
Did he get you the big hat with the feather? I was waiting to say
but it wasn't a big brim hat. but I can put a feather in it. Let me tell you, with that cane and a feather in that cap, you'd have thought I was a pimp. I'm telling you. And it was a brown beige colored suit that went with my complexion. It was a brown beige. So when I tell you everything matched, if I had a feather in that cap, you'd have said, "Oh, here comes the pimp." I'm serious. But I said, no feathers. No feathers. No feathers.
So you know he'd have put one on you now.
Yeah.
He'd put a feather in the hat, and it'd been a long feather.
If I said I wanted one, he would have got it. Anything I wanted that day, Joe would have got me. My nieces and nephews took care of everything for me on my 70th birthday. Food and everything. I'm telling you, they treated their uncle right. Even my nieces and nephews came up from South Carolina and stuff like that. And Joe kind of like, oh yeah. So there's a lot of times Joe didn't show you who he was because he didn't want to be used. But Joe was so really good and grateful at heart that it was like, I can't begin to tell you. Joe was, yeah. Yeah.
So.
And Joe did many things for many people that people didn't even know.
That's why.
And like I said, his cousins, they loved him. They loved Kyla, Jermaine, Valerie, his sister. All his cousins loved him. They didn't care. They loved him because they loved him. You see what I'm saying? They loved him. They didn't care what you did. They loved him and how he treated them. And he let nobody mess with his cousins. Because you mess with his cousin, he had this 6'3" big man coming at you. And his niece, oh no, you better not even try to look at her wrong.
I remember one, he was showing me older pictures before when he was real big, like he said he was. And then I showed him, I said, shoot, you were still a tiny man. He said, what? I said, let me show you a picture. And I put my picture up there. He said, oh my God, you were big for real. I said, yeah, I was bigger than you. I was 2 of you. And he thought he was big. I was 300 pounds. I said, well, I was 425. He said, no, you weren't. I showed him the picture. He's like, I said, yeah, we both lost some weight. And I would always get on him about making sure his blood sugars was right. And taking his medicine. I said, stop being hard here. I'm going to eat. I said, no, you need to eat now. I said, you don't let your blood sugar get out of whack. I said, eat and stay on the schedule. Get your sleep, drink enough water, keep yourself hydrated. Sometimes he listened, sometimes he wouldn't. He was stubborn now. He could be stubborn if he wanted to.
But most of the time he would listen. Let me just say this, because I see somebody put something in the chat about their uncle and being on dialysis. I want to tell the people, especially those that live in Georgia, and if you go to visit Georgia, what you have to do is you have to be careful of the water. Because if you look it up, there's 1% of the population. You cannot drink the water straight out of the tap in Georgia. It screws up your kidneys. And that's how JoJo got a kidney problem when he first went to Georgia. And when they finally figured it out, it was too late. And they told him, you're the 1% that should never drink the water in Atlanta. You should always drink bottled water. So that's why that's a warning to people. If you go to Atlanta, just drink the bottled water. It's better to be safe than sorry.
But you know what's so strange, Uncle Fred? He was on dialysis. Before I moved to New York, I was a dialysis tech in Atlanta. But I used to work for Fresenius, and then I worked for DaVita Dialysis. I worked at both of those. I was a dialysis tech for a year. And that was the most hardest working job I've ever had in my life. Because you're supposed to be assigned, each tech is supposed to be assigned 4 to 5 people. Every shift I had 8 to 10 people. I was working 12, 13, 14 hours days because the turnover rate was real high in that job. And it was just so stressful because I could look this way and turn around, and one of my patients could die just like that. So
Right.
they be prepared that somebody could die at any moment. And the last 2 weeks I was there, that happened to me twice. And I said,
Wow.
no, I turned in my resignation. It was too much because it was just one little elderly lady. She was my mama's size, same size as my mom and everything. And every time I would give that little lady her dialysis, I would take her off the machine. She would give me a peppermint, and she said, "Come here, baby, let me hug you. You done helped me live another day." I said, "Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. No, baby, you kept me around here." And she would always give me a little piece of peppermint, sweet little old lady. And that last time I turned around and I just, taken on standing blood pressure, and her eyes went back and she was gone. I worked on her for 20 minutes until the EMT got there, but it wasn't nothing could be done. And when I went to the funeral, I took it harder than her family did. They had to take me out to church. That's why I knew I had to find another job. It was too stressful because I had gotten attached to her. Because I saw this lady 3 times a week.
Yeah.
For 4 hours each time. So I got to know her. I got to know her family. I got to know all of them. So it was like, it's going to be all right. She in a better place. But it just hurt me so because her and my mother were the same age.
Mm.
And then
Joe had to go 3 times a week, 4 hours a day.
Yeah, it's based on your body weight. Like if you're a bigger person, you might be in there for 4.5, 5 hours, but a smaller person is normally 2.5, 3 hours, 3.5. And my dad always said, if they ever had to put me on dialysis, I don't want it. I'm just gonna die. And I said, no, Dad, you're gonna take this treatment. So he got on it, and he just gave up because he didn't want that. So I mean, he never got to the point where they put the fistula in his arm. He just had the catheter on his heart.
Oh,
so he never got down to that point because once he started, he just gave up.
Wow.
Yeah. So I like you said, that water is something else in Atlanta because I mean the filtration they have.
I think it's all over the state. Somebody just said it's Fowler said it's all over the state.
Mm-hmm. But it's real bad in Atlanta, and the reason being, the water source for Atlanta is the Chattahoochee River.
Oh.
And that river is murky and muddy.
And they're not filtering it right.
And I don't care what they do to it, that water gonna still be messed up. And it just is. It's like I say, there are dialysis clinics all over Atlanta. That's a big problem. But see, in the South, period, it's gonna be a lot of dialysis because of the foods. See, most people end up on dialysis, 1 of 5 things: high blood pressure, diabetes, hepatitis, HIV and AIDS, or chronic drug and alcohol use.
Okay.
One of those is going to get you on dialysis because your kidneys can't filter that stuff. And Southern people eat all that soul food, all that grease, all that fried food.
Right.
And then you pour that down, people drinking and partying on the weekend, drinking that corn liquor, and that Southern living catches up with you. Right? Yeah. It does. And that's why I every time when I'm tempted to drink a whole lot of sweet drinks, I'm like, no, I better drink some water. Like right now, after I drink this, I'm gonna go in there and drink a whole bunch of water because I firsthand saw dialysis.
Yeah, you saw it firsthand. Yeah.
And those, I'm here to tell you, if you've never had a loved one on it, or if you've gone to the dialysis clinic with them, you see the effect it has on them after they come out of those treatments. They're weak, they're lethargic, and yeah.
And sometimes if the tech is not watching and does it correctly, because I remember many times Joe came home and he was screaming because he would get cramps because they took too much water off of him.
They pulled too much fluid off.
Yeah.
And you'll also cramp up because depending on how fast that the speed of the machine, if it's going too fast, your body get ice cold. That's when them cramps come. I mean, it's a total body cramp all the way from here down. And you got techs on either side trying to massage it out, and ain't nothing you can do. You know, when a cramp hits your leg, just imagine it's all in your arm, all up under here, all around your stomach, everything. It's just total body cramp. And because people, it's just like the machine that you got, that big machine, but the actual thing that purifies your blood is the size of this microphone. Your blood comes out of your body, goes through that little filter, and then back into you. and the pump speed is based on, they're calculated based on your height, your weight, and all that stuff. And they just, you sitting there and they're like, okay, we got you set at 295. Most people I put them on at 225, 295, but really big people, that speed might go up higher. And that's when the cramps happen. And that's why you see a lot of people, they go to dialysis, they have gloves on, they have a skull cap, they got a blanket, because they're trying to keep their body warm to avoid those cramps.
See, Joe knew his, whatever his calculations were, he knew them.
Mm-hmm.
And he would tell the people. And when the people would not do his calculations, that's when he would get cramped up and whatnot. And then when he's finished, he tell him, I told you. Mm-hmm. I told you what they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they know what works for them and what doesn't. They can tell you better than most people.
Most people, because they've been doing it how long?
For years. So
Joe was on dialysis for like 5 years.
Really?
5 years.
So when I first met him, he was already on it.
He was already on dialysis.
Oh, wow.
5 years. If I remember correct, he was on for 5 years. So I think also when all this stuff happened, I think you reach a point where you get tired.
You do.
You get tired. Your body is just tired. And again, if I'm not going to get perfectly well like I was before,
I'd rather not.
Then why am I here?
Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of people get depression. Is one of the biggest things I saw when I worked in the dialysis. Yeah. Depression, because you sitting there, you knowing that this machine that you
is keeping you alive,
and you hoping that a donor kidney comes if you qualify for one.
If you qualify,
some people can't get it because they have other issues.
That,
disqualify them. Or some people just won't do right. That was a young lady. That girl was every bit of 25 or 26, little video girl. But she lost, her kidneys failed because she was a heavy drinker. Got a kidney, still wouldn't do right, kept drinking, and then that kidney rejected. So then she was back on.
So that was a waste of kidney, because that kidney could have went to somebody else.
And the month after I stopped working, she passed away. I'll never forget it. It was like, I'm like, I used to just look at her, I'm like, why did you do that to yourself? Well, I'm gonna do what I want. I said, okay.
So then they shouldn't have given you a kidney. They should have just let you do what you want.
Yeah, but she was next up on the list. Now, when my cousin got his kidney, shoot, he don't do nothing. He's like, anything that he think gonna make that kidney reject, he's like, nope, I'm good.
Right.
He don't even cut his own grass. They tell you you're not supposed to be bouncing around. He don't ride a riding lawnmower or nothing. He's like, nope, I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna jeopardize me having to go back.
He's grateful. He's grateful.
Yeah, because he waited a good little minute before he got it was a history of high blood pressure in my family, and he had high blood pressure and didn't even know it.
Oh,
because like they say, it's a silent killer.
Yeah.
His kidneys, he just started swelling one day, and it was like, Glenn, you need to go to the ER, and that's when they found out he had kidney failure. And by that time, they said he had like maybe 15-20% function, if that. Because a lot of people don't realize when they put you on dialysis, it's not 100. It's never what your kidneys normally do. At best, you're gonna get 35% of what your normal.
Oh, okay. It's gonna clean it like 35%.
No. The machine's gonna clean you out, but your kidneys, if you're fortunate, you're at 35%. Some people can't pass water at all, so that machine.
Oh, okay.
Clean them. That's why they have to pull so much fluid off. Some people have zero kidney function. Their kidneys just completely shut down. Some people have some kidney function, and they can still somewhat go to the bathroom, but not much.
But tinkle.
Yeah, that's it. But those people are in better shape than the people that have no kidney function.
Okay.
Because and that's why between treatments, you're only allowed maximum 1.7 liters of fluid to be put into your body. So you're drinking water. If you just got to have soda, I would tell you drink ginger ale or Sprite, something like that. Clear liquids.
Oh, okay.
Because that's why I be telling people all the time, coffee or drinking colas is not good for your kidneys, because your kidneys can't process that dye, and it puts a strain on your kidneys. That's why, as much as I love Coke, I leave them alone now. If I drink a soda, it's going to be ginger ale, or I hate ginger ale, but I'll drink 7-Up. But I try to stay away from colas or drinks, period, soft drinks, period. Because after that job was just an eye opener for me. I'm like, hey, I got greasy foods. I love fried chicken, so. But
I know the greasy food is for the gallbladder.
Yeah, gallbladder.
My gallbladder had to be taken out years ago because
my brother did too. Yeah.
Believe it or not, gallstones would go through the ducts. And let me tell you, that is a pain you don't want to feel. And normally for me, when one of those gallstones went through, it was 2 hours. I was doubled up on the floor for 2 hours.
My brother.
Once the gallstone passed, it was like nothing happened. So I finally went to the doctor and they found out what was wrong. They said, no, it's not like we can do something and you'll be all right. No, your gallbladder has to come out. I said, what? They said it has to come out. So they set me up and I went to the doctor, and they were doing, this is going back to the 1980s. And they had come out with this new type of surgery, what they call laparoscopic surgery. In other words, before you had a scar from here to here because they were cutting you open to get the gallbladder. Now with the laparoscopic surgery, they go through your belly button, and they put like 2 holes on either side, and they know how to go in and get it out. My gallbladder, I'm not laughing. I am laughing. I ain't gonna lie. I'm laughing because now I can laugh because it was so funny. Afterwards, the doctor told me, we thought we were going to have to cut your belly button wider. That's how big the gallstones were. He said I had 2 big marble-sized gallstones and 30 little gallstones. Hold that thought now. I don't know how to put this to the camera.
You kept them?
I kept one. I told him anything that was in me that created that much problem, I want something to remember it by so it never happens again. And what I found out is the big stones, what happens is the little stones, they keep solidifying with each other and they create the big stone. And I had 2 big, did you play marbles when you were young?
Yeah.
And you know how what you call the jumbo marble?
Yeah.
I had 2 jumbo-sized marbles in me with 30 some other smaller stones because the doctor laid it out and he cut it open and he laid it out on the tray when he took it out of me. I told him I want one of them because if that caused me that much problem, I want to, if something caused you that much problem, keep it. Like if a snake bites you, cut the head off and keep it in front of you so he never bites you again.
My brother was at his job. He was working in a nursing home, and he went into distress with his gallbladder. He drove to the hospital, which was in the next town out in the country. He drove 40 miles with that pain, and he had a stick shift car.
Wow, I couldn't do it.
And he was in the middle of the night working a night shift, and he drove himself to the emergency room. They took him straight up to the ER.
Yeah,
he had 4 of those big marble-sized ones.
See, yeah,
and he was in agony. We always just thought he had indigestion because he'd always be grabbing his stomach right there.
That's what it feels like at first.
Yep. So,
you know what it feels like at first? It feels like you have gas and you can't pass it.
That's right.
That's what it feels like. And it keeps backing up because what's happened is the gallbladder is trying to let the gall out, but the stone is blocking the exit. So it's building up. And I never in my life want that pain again. That was the most excruciating pain that I can think of ever having. So y'all check your gallbladder, go to your doctor.
I just had a test last year.
Huh?
I just had a test last year. They gave me a full ultrasound and MRI and everything because I thought I had one. They were like, nope, you don't have nothing, you fine. So with Joseph, I don't even know how, I'm just laughing, just think about it. Was there your sister, his mom? How old was he when she passed?
She passed in 2010. So
Oh.
today I think he would have been 54,
Mhm.
53 or 54. So 53. He would have been 53. And so calculated. I can't calculate that fast.
Yeah,
2010.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was
So-
hard on both of them. That was hard on both of them. Yeah.
Because yeah, I was I remember talking to him after my mother passed. He was like, "All you can do is one day at a time."
That's all. That's
and,
all.
And a lot of people that have had their lost their mother or lost their parent before, they would tell me the same thing. This is your new normal. You just have to just one day at a time. Some days you might not be able to make it through a day, just 1 hour at a time. And just keep going, keep going, keep going. And but he didn't seem like he didn't let things. I wish I could have been like that. He just didn't seem like he just, something made him mad, he dealt with it, he just be done with it.
And he's finished with it, right?
Yeah, I wish I had that ability. Sometimes stuff lingers with me for a minute. And I always admired that about him. He was like, okay, it happened. I didn't like it. Okay, on to the next thing. And I wish I could do that more. I'm getting there now. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more patient. Because boy, I used to be a hothead when I was younger. Oh my God. I guess when I lost all this weight, I couldn't be a hothead no more because somebody grabbed me and threw me across the room.
I used to be like that, but then after a while, I stopped to think, what is it accomplishing me?
Right.
In other words, in the back of my head, no, you're gonna get even. You're gonna get even. Mm-hmm. And then with some people, you get even, and I ask myself, what did that accomplish? Nothing. It did not accomplish anything. So I just reached the point where, you know what, you have the discussion and then you let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go.
You have to. Or just choose not to deal with that person at all ever again in this life.
Exactly. Well, see, that's the thing. Depending on who it is,
right?
It doesn't mean I don't love you.
I just love you from a distance.
I love you from a distance. And just because I love you doesn't mean I always have to have you up in my face or be in your face. Life is not like that.
No, sir, because I am not going to be bothered. Life is too short. Life is entirely too short to be getting mad.
Look at what Marcella said. Keep the snake head. Keep the.
He ain't never heard it.
Keep the snake head. My God.
Marcellus, when I was in the country and we would kill a snake sometime we would put, I don't know why we did it. We just put it in a jar and covered in formaldehyde and just have it in a big old one of those pickled pig feet jar.
Okay.
And we would set it. I had one in my room. Don't ask me why. My mama used to get so mad. And when she found out I was in there, she made me put it outside in the shed. But I had a rattlesnake that I killed and I put it in the jar and covered it with formaldehyde because I just wanted to keep it. It was fascinating to me. I mean, it was a big rattlesnake. It had to be about 4 feet long.
Wow.
And, well, that was because some of them get long as 10, 12 feet. Because if they live a long time. But this rattler hit about 12 rattles on them. They can have more than that. So sucker was big as my arm. And I had him in that jar, just spiraled around that jar. And my cousin come by, he looked, and I wait till he was looking. I grabbed.
Oh, will you tell Mayor Church these?
I ain't messing with Marcelo. See, he always cutting up.
Watch this. Make sure to go to the doctor so you don't get hit with a case of dingleberries.
I'm not messing with that boy. I'm not messing with him tonight. I am not messing with him tonight. Nobody. So Did Joseph like to cook?
Oh, when he was there, that's why I didn't have to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Joe would cook every day.
Really?
And I let him. I just said, well, we need this, Uncle Fred. We need this. We need that. Okay, I'll go get it. And Joe was a very good cook. The only thing I would have to tell Joe is sometimes there's certain dishes he would have to make two of because Joe was heavy-handed with salt. And I would have to tell him, Joe, it's too salty for me. I can't eat it. So make mine separate and I'll add my own salt. And he would do it. He would do it. He wouldn't get mad. He'd do it.
He wasn't a baker, was he?
I was the baker.
Okay.
I can bake now. I can bake. Oh, Liv said Joseph made the best potato salad in the world. He could make some good potato salad. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could.
I had to give him that one because one day he was telling me what he puts all in and how he does it, and he showed me a picture. In fact, he's still on as one of my Facebook friends. I looked at some of the dishes he cooked because he would take pictures, and sure enough, that was one of the things he had right up there at the top.
Joe could cook anything. Joe could cook anything. The only thing Joe cooked that, well, if anybody cook it, I don't eat it, is oxtail.
You don't like oxtail?
I can't tell you I don't like it. I never put it in my mouth.
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. I grew up in the country.
Okay, so you probably had coon and everything.
No, I ain't cool with that. No. My daddy would eat that stuff, but I never liked pig feet. My daddy and my brother's oldest son, they sit there with a pan of pig feet and just be eating at the table. I said, you'll never have to worry about me asking for any. But I never had oxtail at all. Never tried it, never had an interest in it until I moved to New York. And I had my first oxtail at a Dominican restaurant that was down the street at the end of my block. Because you know, when you go in the Dominican restaurant, they got the rice, everything is rice and beans and oxtails. I said, let me try those oxtails. They had oxtails and gravy. They even had some oxtails with barbecue sauce. And I said, no, I don't want that. I'll try the one with the gravy. So I had the beans and rice and the oxtail with the gravy on. Man, that was the best thing I ever had, Uncle Fred, in my life.
But see, what I tell people when they ask me, I do not tell them I don't like oxtail because I never tasted it. You see what I'm saying? So I may taste it one day and like it. The fact is, for some reason, I just don't want to put oxtail in my mouth. Now, that may sound weird, but I just don't want to put oxtail in my mouth. Now, let me tell you this quick story. While I was working, this young lady invited me over for dinner. Now, if you ask me, is there anything you don't eat? And I tell you, I'm assuming you're not going to make that. So she said, is there anything you don't eat? I said, I do not eat oxtail. I won't even put it in my mouth. So I don't know if it tastes good or not. I don't put it in my mouth. I go to her house and I say, you can look at oxtail and know what it is. It's not like it's well, anyway, I look at it and see how it is. And I'm looking, I'm like,
the meat's around it?
Yeah. Right.
Baby neck bone is what I used to call it when I was a kid.
And I'm like, what is that meat? And she said, oh, taste it, you'll like it. I said, no, I don't put anything in my mouth. I don't know what it is. No, taste it, you'll like it. I said, I told you, I don't know. What is it? She said, oxtail. I said, let me ask you a question. You asked me, was there any kind of meat I don't eat? And I specifically told you oxtail. So why would you invite me to your house for dinner for oxtail? Oh, I just wanted you to taste mine because you might like it. I told her, I never told you I did not like oxtail. I said, I do not want to put it in my mouth. That's a difference. So I said, I want to thank you for making dinner for me, but bye-bye. Yeah, I did. I can't trust you. If I can't trust you with putting something in my mouth, I can't trust you.
True.
Think about it.
True. Because you don't know what they're fixing you.
Thank you.
Try to sneak it on. But Oxtail, when I was growing up, I actually thought oxtail was really oxtail. I didn't know it was just a cow's tail. I thought it was an actual ox. I was like, I ain't eating that. And when I got up here in New York City, boy, this is good. But I can't eat it now. You know why? A pack of oxtail run you about $50, $60.
Get out.
The price is gone. After COVID, everything went up. Oxtails went through the roof.
I'm glad I never tasted it. Chicken alone, chicken wings. Oh, please.
But for real, oxtail, it tastes just like stewed beef, but with a bone in the middle. That's it.
No, but see what I'm saying is it has nothing to do with the taste to me when it comes to oxtail. It has nothing to do with the taste. Don't ask me, it's psychological, but for some reason, I just don't want to put oxtail in my mouth. Now, I've eaten pig feet. I've eaten,
You eat pig feet?
No. Only when my grandmother made them. My mother's mother, when she made them, I ate them. And I would eat chitlins. Only when my grandmother made them. Outside of that, I don't eat nobody. When she died, that was the end of chitlins for me.
When I found out as a child what a chitlin was, I'm good.
I slop them down when my grandmother make them, please. I slop those things down.
My mama fried them. First off, to clean them, she taking them, turn them inside out. She would take a whole day to prep them.
Yes.
You got to do that for. I'm like, I don't want that. But then again, I'm not gonna knock nobody because again, Joseph would laugh at me because I eat deer meat. I said, "Oh, you city folks, y'all call it venison. I just call it what it was in the country, deer meat. But city people, y'all had to put a fancy name on. So y'all call it venison, and they charge you double what it's worth out in the country." I said, I go out my back door and just kill one and cook. You kill a deer? I said, yeah, I've shot a deer before. He looked at me like I was the most savage person he had ever seen in his life. I said, what do you think? Somebody had to kill the deer for you to eat it, eat your venison. I said, you eat lamb, don't you? Yeah. I said, well, and I've even teased you about it. I said, and Marcellus, I said, y'all eat Jesus meat. I said, if you eat a lamb, I said,
yes, I do.
I said, you eat the little baby lamb that's on the funeral home thing.
I sure will.
I said, y'all gonna bust hell wide open eating Jesus meat. But I eat deer. Y'all like lamb. Everybody got y'all like, some of y'all like chitlins. No.
Oh no, after my grandmother died, I wouldn't eat nobody else's chitlin because I knew she cleaned them. Because let me tell you, when somebody's cooking chitlins and boiling them to clean them, your whole house is raunchy. It is, oh Lord, have mercy.
And I knew for firsthand how clean my mother was with them, and it still stunk. I said, I'm good. And my dad would sit there, be sprinkling that hot sauce on me, eating them nasty things. Him and my sister. But me and my brother, we'd be out in the yard. That's one way he could get both of us out the house. All mama had to do was start cooking them stanky chitlins for him. We was out the house the whole day.
Daryl, Lynn said, you need to try to eat some precious Jesus meat.
That's why Lynn is a special corner in hell waiting on Lynn for saying that mean stuff. If you sit there and eat a little innocent lamb of God, it's a special corner of hell just for you, with the devil throwing coals on the fire just for y'all. I don't fool with that. I really don't. I couldn't get past it. But strangely enough, I like fried alligator. I'm a country boy. Fried alligator. Well, deer, if somebody killed it and gave it to me, yeah, I'll put that sucker on the grill in a minute. The best meat you'll have is very lean because all deers eat is grass and leaves and berries. The meat is almost 95% lean.
Wow.
They have very little body fat. Like when you make deer sausage, you have to put pork inside of when you're making the sausage, so the fat from the pork is what you fry it with. Because they don't have very little body fat.
See, lamb has a lot of fat. It has a lot of fat.
I tried lamb once and didn't know, and I felt so bad about it. I never did again. What's those little wraps they have where they slice it off the meat? It's a big piece of meat.
Yeah.
Gyro. And I said, oh, this is kind of different. And my brother waited till I ate the last piece. He said, you just ate some lamb. I said, oh, God.
That's what gyro is, lamb.
I was sick. I felt so guilty about eating that lamb meat. But yeah,
What did you think they?
I didn't know.
No, wait. What do you think the Jews did with the lamb after they sacrificed it?
You know what? I thought they actually burned them on the altar. I didn't know that they actually ate the meat.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I really didn't. So you learn something new every day because like when I moved to New York, it's strange. I was in the heart of the most cultural block, probably in Newark. One end was a Brazilian steakhouse. The other end was a Dominican restaurant. In the middle of my block, it was a Puerto Rican like little stand so I got all those food, and then the block over was some African place, and then the other place Haitian and Jamaican in the other direction. So I got all kinds of international foods. I mean, it was just like wow, and I could walk to everything, and but I learned real quick when I moved to New York. I always ask what you about to eat because stuff that they eat in their country, I don't eat over here. So I'm like, what are you cooking? Like, I never had frog legs until I went to Coney Island. And you go right there to Nathan's, they sell them nasty frog legs. That was the greasiest thing I ever had in my life. But it tastes pretty good. And I grew up, it was a swamp in the back of my house. And I never ate no frog legs. Even when I go to New Orleans, I never ate frog legs. But when I went to New York City, of all places, I had my first frog leg.
You ever hear of bird nest soup?
Nope.
Bird nest soup is, I forgot what country it is, where the birds make their nests in the rocks of the cliffs. Mm-hmm. And the people, after the birds have their babies and whatnot, the people go up and they collect the bird's nest. And they come back down and they boil it. They strain it, and that's what they have is bird's nest soup. And they say it's good.
I'll never find out.
Now, I don't know who the first person that tried it, but they say it's good.
I'll never find it. Just like you say, you'll never find out about
I will never know about oxtail.
Yeah.
I see Roxanne says she eats chitlins with Texas pesto.
Texas Pete. Y'all can have it. You'll never, if you leave me at your house and you could leave and come back, your chitlins will still be sitting there.
It would. Angela said frog legs taste like chicken.
Actually, it does. It tastes like really greasy chicken. And Nathan's, they were selling out. They sold out of them that day I was out there. People were buying them thing, walking long, like a long chicken wing or a turkey wing, and they're just eating them. And I tried the girl, I went to the Coney Island when she said, "Yeah, you got to try this." I was like, and she's Jamaican. I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." And I bit it. I said, "It ain't too bad." I said, "But it ain't something I'll order for myself." But I was like, of all the places I come to the largest city in the United States to eat some frog legs, all them frogs around me in the South, and I never even gave a thought of eating a frog leg.
Joe would taste stuff, but not just any and everything. He tried something new, but not just any and everything.
Oh, I got to ask first because I learned that quickly when I went to New York. I'm like, "Hey, what's that? What's that? What's that?" And because I'm like, you see people from all corners of the earth, and they eat stuff that you don't eat over here.
Have you ever seen these big cockroaches?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it because it's gonna turn your stomach. Literally, when they're alive, there are people that will eat them.
Yeah, I believe it. People eat locusts, so that don't surprise me.
Okay. Yeah, the first time I saw that, it was like, no. I guess there's nothing in this world people don't eat.
You're right. Because I've had fried rattlesnake before. It tastes good. It tastes like shrimp. Had it at the county fair, though. Fried rattlesnake. It was good. Alligator, rattlesnake. Shoot, my dad used to have this saying, and it's true. He said, I said, "Oh, I'll never eat that. I'll never eat that." And like he said, "Daryl," he looked at me. He said, "Look, boy, I grew up on a farm." He said, "If you eat a chicken, you'll eat anything. A chicken is the nastiest animal on the farm."
That's what I heard.
That's what I was like, "No." He said, "No, a chicken will eat its own waste." And then he would sit back in and he said, how you think you get dark meat and white meat? And I was like, oh my God, don't say that. He would just say that just to see what I was gonna say. And he would just laugh at me and laugh at me. I said, don't say that. And my mama wasn't no better. She said, yeah, that's how dark meat and white meat. I said, whatever. So I went to school thinking that. I asked my teacher, and she started laughing. Who told you that? I said, my dad and my mom. She said, Dale, they were just having fun at your expense. But he said, a chicken is the nastiest animal you'll eat.
Wow.
If you eat anything, if you can eat a chicken, you can eat anything. I said, okay, I'll take your word for it because I ain't trying to find out. Because a chicken don't stand a chance around some black people. That's why they run so fast. My father cooked us some snake in it. Tasted good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just read that. Yeah.
Fried rattlesnake is real good. I haven't had any since I moved up north though, because there ain't no rattlesnakes up here. But when I go home this summer, I'm gonna get me some. I used to hunt all the time as a kid, and I haven't been hunting in a long time. But yeah, Uncle Fred, I'm just glad we were able to reminisce in a good way about Joseph, because I know you had mentioned that you were dreading this day, and I didn't want you to be dreading it because he wouldn't want that.
I know.
He wouldn't want that, and he wants you to be happy. We all do. We all want you to be happy. So I'm so glad that Roxanne called me earlier today and said, let's do this, because we love you, Uncle Fred. We don't want you sad. We don't want you sad at all. And for your family that's here, we're praying for y'all. We love y'all. And just know, we love Joseph too, because he was a good guy. So, and just know this from somebody that's not in the family. I haven't, in the time I knew Joseph, I had nobody say anything bad about Joseph. And if they did, they didn't matter. They definitely didn't matter.
Because you knew better.
I knew better from firsthand experience. And we were all lucky to have had the pleasure of knowing him. Y'all knew him your whole lives, but we had the pleasure of knowing him these last couple of years, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to know him.
I'm glad y'all did, because
he used to have me cracking up.
He was a great guy. He was a great guy. You know, there's just some things we wish we could have changed in life, but people have to live their own life.
True.
We all have to make our own mistake, and we suffer the consequences of those mistakes.
Look at this devil here. Hold on.
Well, praise his holy name. Hello, gentlemen.
Well, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
What's up, Uncle Fred? Happy
Hallelujah.
birthday, Joseph.
That's right.
Yeah. Rest on, rest on.
I know that's right. I just had to call you guys because you know me, I'm a workaholic. But I just had to call you, Uncle Fred, because I know how much you love to hear greetings, greetings, greetings. And so I just wanted to call you and give you the official greetings, greetings, greetings. Now, these people done told me in the chat, Uncle Fred. Now, I didn't know this, so they told me that Popeyes has a box. Now, my budget don't call for the box today, but I'm gonna go tomorrow and I'm gonna get that box. Because apparently, you know, there's a box at the Popeyes, so I'm gonna have that tomorrow at the Popeyes. So I just thought I'd call and make that little old announcement.
So
one
what's
more
in
thing,
the box? What's in the box?
Huh?
What's in the box?
I don't know. I ain't never been. They told me that in the chat. I ain't never been to Popeyes and got a box, so I got to go find out.
A biscuit and two pieces of chicken.
Oh,
you don't get a side?
If you ask for it, you get a side.
But it's gonna be extra.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Do you all know how much a piece of chicken at Popeyes costs? It costs like $30 a leg in California. Good Lord.
Oh, well, then it's time you move out of California.
Oh my God! If I got to pay extra for a side, oh Lord, I guess I'm gonna be having just chicken and bread.
That's it. That's what's in the box.
Yeah,
that's what's in the box.
But if you go to KFC, they give you the chicken, the bread, and you get one side. I think, and you get a drink. I'm not sure, but I think it's $5 and you get the whole shebang.
And you get two pieces of chicken.
Yeah, you get 2 pieces of chicken, the bread, and one side, and a drink.
But it's about, well, out there, I'm sure that's about $13. Here, that's $7.99. Yeah, I'm serious. It's about $7.99, $6.99, $7.99. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I haven't
Well,
been a long time.
Well, Daryl, since you was telling your story, I had to call y'all so I could tell y'all my first encounter going to an LGBTQ club. I think I might have told you this story, Daryl, but Uncle Fred probably never heard this story before. So, Uncle Fred, I was dating this girl. Her sister is a Sony recording artist. So she's a real recording artist. She has CDs and stuff that she put out and all this stuff.
Okay.
So one night they asked me, Uncle Fred, they said, well, you go to the gay club with us. And I said, well, I've never been to a gay club. First of all, y'all know, because I'm strict holiness, and y'all know we don't do that. Praise God. It's giving honor.
Y'all do it. Say what now?
You heard what?
Say what?
Y'all holiness and apostolic people don't do what?
You know we don't go to gay clubs.
Oh, y'all just go in the house.
No, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I rebuke that spirit in you right now. Praise God. Here come Messiah. You just lying like Mariah. Now hold on now. So wait a minute.
You know what I mean, Alex?
So wait a minute. So I decided to go. So I'm gonna tell you how nervous I was there. This is a real true story. I think I told you and Roxanne and them this story before. So when I get to the gay club, the way they had the club, because they did like karaoke stuff. Mm-hmm. So my date, I made the agreement, Uncle Fred, that I had to be on the inside of the booth. Okay. So you had to put me on the inside because I didn't want to be on the outside because I was nervous and I didn't want to be on the outside. So and I laugh at it now because in retrospect, how stupid and immature is that, right? Right. So I climb into the booth and I get up I'm on the side with the wall, but I got my arm around her because I felt like if I keep my arm around her, that would ward off any issues. Right? So I'm in the booth, Uncle Fred, and all of a sudden, and see, this how God will do you, because if you're nervous or you got issues with something, God will always, he'll trouble the water. So we sitting at our booth, and all of a sudden, this dude who's singing the karaoke, he comes over to our table. He has on the furriest sweater I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, I didn't even know they made sweaters like this. It had so much. I don't even know how to describe it. It was feathers everywhere. He
like Sasquatch.
Yeah, just feathers everywhere. That man took that microphone and he sang and he laid out on our table and he was singing. And I'm sitting here looking and I am just like, I'm like a cow at a new gate. My eyes is about this big. I am nervous can be. Why, I don't know, but it's just like, okay. So we in there. Hilarious. Now, what I learned in that experience, though, they don't really bother you. They don't bother you. Go to that club, nobody bothers you. They were singing, they was doing their little thing, and it was just hilarious. So I had to call you to tell you my little story, and I'll tell you a quick story about Joseph. The first time I asked Joseph some questions regarding some of the stuff that goes on in that community. One thing I liked about Joseph is I could ask Joseph any question and Joseph would answer my question. Mm-hmm. And he would answer my question honestly. And he wouldn't judge me because I asked the question. That was a real thing that I loved about him. That he would answer my question. So, it is what it is. But Uncle Fred, I know how it is. Daryl and I, we're always praying for you because we know that you miss Joseph. We know you do. And we be trying to help you with that technology stuff. Because, we can't, I tell you, Uncle Fred, you put something in the chat for Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred going to come back 2 days later and finally tell you he couldn't open it up. And you be like, you waited this long to tell us you couldn't see it.
I can't tell you how many times we've gotten that message. Well, what it say? How to open it? And we try not to laugh because it's stuff that that we don't know nothing about.
Exactly. And that's why, you know, Uncle Fred is tough. Uncle Fred, when you said, when they take something out of your body, you're going to keep it with you. As that right there, Uncle Fred, that let me know that you have been to war. I don't care. You might not have had to shoot and kill a whole lot of people, but you done been into some serious heavy traffic, and you done had to deal with some stuff in your life. Uncle Fred said you cut the head off the snake and keep it with you as a reminder. I say, my God from Zion.
Man, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I love you guys. You guys know I'm a workaholic. I got to go back to work. Hello, and what's up to all the people in the chat? Y'all behave yourselves. Now, Uncle Fred, I hear there's a little bird. There's a little bird that done told me that, you know, folks is trying to have a service of epic proportion. Now, I think, Uncle Fred, the service that we done had here today is probably going to be better than anything that they can put together. This right here look like it done accomplished what it need to do. We done said some wonderful things, and I appreciate you for coming online, Uncle Fred, and putting yourself out here, because I know that's not easy, sir. But you know me, I stirs the pot.
You don't stir the pot, you stir it, then you kick it over. You ain't never. Yeah.
Look, and you tell that Lynn, you tell that Evangelist Pearson that she don't be in the chat talking bad to the prophet, because I am the man of God. And she don't be talking bad to the man of God in the chat. She just be disobedient. I don't know what's wrong. These evangelists today, Uncle Fred, they done got out of control. They're not subject to the man of God.
They're out of control.
God bless y'all. I appreciate you, Uncle Fred. But in real talk, we love you. We appreciate you, sir. And you know we appreciate Joseph. You know, one of the things that I'm grateful for over here, we do have a lot of wisdom over here. That's another thing. You know, we got some wise folks over here. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why you can't tell us, you know, you got swelling on your Brian, and, you know, you can't eat and stuff like that, because we got nurses over here. We got people in the medical field that are telling us that you can't have, you know, pneumonia on your blood clot. You know, and they'll tell us stuff like that. And we figure that kind of stuff out. We figure that kind of stuff out over here, praise God. So I'm just saying, when you guys enjoy yourselves, I'll talk to y'all later in the chat. We do need to get together, because we gotta make sure that we protect some stuff over here. But I love y'all. Talk to y'all later.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
I done upset the Apple Cart. See, I came at the end right there, and I had to upset and turn the cart over, so, you know, that way I can keep y'all going and keep y'all pushing. I'll see y'all soon, because God's got some great things coming. Y'all just don't know it. 2024 is going to be a great year. It's going to be I'm going to tell you, 2024, a lot of things now. See, this is why I'm getting into trouble. Uncle Fred, there's a lot of people who has a lot of things in their life that have seemed like they have diminished and that they've gone away. But 2024, even with all the stuff that's going on in the world, there's going to be some stuff in all of our lives that rises like a phoenix. Mm-hmm. It's going to pull itself up, and it's going to surprise us. Some stuff that we thought that God wasn't going to do for us, He's going to do for you in 2024. And it's going to overtake you suddenly. You're not even going to, you wasn't even thinking about something that's going to show up in your life in 2024. And you're going to be like, wow, that just came out of nowhere. Mark my words, 2024 will be a year of reveal. It will be, and some of us who have prayed and asked God to stick things in our lives and take care of certain things in our lives, we're going to see God cover us like He's never covered us before. But He's going to reveal some other people, but He's going to cover the saints. Now, y'all mark my words. I'll see y'all later. God bless you.
All right.
All righty.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, all right. We've been on here, Uncle Fred. I just wanted you to know, seriously, you know, you can always call me.
And I appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
Anytime. I mean, because you did it for me 2 times. So And any other time, you've never turned me away. So don't even worry about what the time on the clock say. If you want to talk, just call.
I appreciate
Seriously.
it.
Yeah, and that go
I
for
appreciate
y'all.
it.
Yeah, that go for your family too. Now, y'all, he got my number, because you can't do things like this by yourself. Sometimes it just takes somebody listening to you, not to solve your problem, just to let you talk
Just
about
to
it.
listen.
Just to listen.
You're
Because
right.
God gonna work it out. It's just you just need
Right.
somebody else to come into agreement with you. Because
Right.
God gonna always work it out, no matter what it is. God gonna always work it out. And I thank God for you. I thank God for having the opportunity to know Joseph. And I know he wouldn't want us sitting around sad and feeling sorry for ourselves, because he not. And
Right.
like you said, he was at peace.
Yeah.
And
That he was.
and he went
I
out on his
know he
own.
was at peace.
He went out on his own terms, because he told you what he wanted to do before he went down that last time.
Yes, he did.
He's
Yes,
like,
he did.
Don't put me in no hospice. He said, I want to stay right here. And y'all honored that for him. Y'all honored his wishes.
Yeah. We talked to the doctors and we got it worked out, and they honored it too.
Yeah. So it was on his terms. Him and God worked it on out, and he went on to where he was going to be and get his rest. So with that said, Uncle Fred, we'll talk later on tonight, because I'm going to walk this little spoiled puppy of mine.
Let me just say, if you don't mind, I appreciate the A team. I want to thank them for everything. Lips, you will never know how much you helped my family and what you meant to my family. By helping Joe, you helped us, and you will never ever understand how grateful we are for that. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to listen, everyone in the chat, I'm going to ask you to please, Daryl volunteered to have this live for me and to help celebrate Joe. And I'm going to ask each and every one of y'all, if y'all can bless his Cash App, the Invisible Man, $ Invisible Man, or PayPal at DD Moore Senior, I would see y'all got so many of these things. But I would be grateful if y'all can help bless his Cash Apps, because you see them up there, they're scrolling. I would be grateful if everybody could just help him. And I say thank you. Daryl, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the A team. If Roxanne is still here, she's been a very great help for me. We all have our problems every now and then, but we all come back together in time. That's what life is about. That's what family is about. You boot each other in the tail sometime, and then you come back together and you smile, you cry, and you keep on going, because that's how we are.
Uncle Fred,
and I think so.
Is Lip the one that had the picture with the food? Was that him?
He does the mukbang. Remember when you put that up? That's Lips. When you said something about they did something to his fingers.
Yeah, because somebody had photoshopped it some kind of way. I was like,
right. That's Lips.
Oh, so I have seen. Okay,
you seen it? Yeah,
I got a face with the name. Okay,
he does the mukbang just about every day.
I gotta talk to you, because I never understood mukbang, but it's a big thing on social media, and people make a bunch of money doing it.
Yes, it is.
I probably would have been a millionaire, but I dropped dead doing it because I was 400 pounds. I would have had a double mukbang.
But he doesn't gain weight from it. I don't know how he doesn't, but if you watch him once or twice, you'll say that man's got to be at least 1,000 pounds. No, he's not. And he eats everything that he puts out there. When I say everything, I mean all kind of different foods. They don't have the same thing all the time. They do different things. But that's Lips.
Okay. All right. Well, it's 10 o'clock, and I'm going to go walk the puppy, and I'll be hitting you up in our group chat a little later, and as soon as I walk the dog and come back in.
This has really helped me, and Daryl, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Anything I can do, Uncle Fred, we got you.
I'm grateful.
All right.
Okay.
Well, good night, y'all, and thank you for coming. This was for Joseph, and we miss him, but we love him, and we know
He's
with
in
God
a better place.
because we believe in God. We know He did too, so we know where He is, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I'll catch up with y'all next time.
Bye for now.
Good night.
How do I get out?